I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and we are back again with another video. If you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. If you are into true crime stories, news, and politics, we get into it on this channel, and I think you would very much enjoy the content. I would really appreciate it, guys. And if you're not new, and if you're a returning listener or subscriber, thank you as always for being a friend, and please interact with the channel and with the video. Give us a like, give us a comment, go follow me on Twitter, guys. Do all of the things. It really does help me out, and I appreciate every last one of you for being here and watching this video. So guys, I wanted to jump on here. This will be a pretty quick one, I think. I have seen this story in the last couple days just kind of really explode, and I hadn't really heard too much about this whenever it was all kind of unfolding, which was about, you know, I guess it was about last weekend. So over this past weekend, last Thursday to be exact, was when this young lady was alleged to have gone missing, and it's kind of a weird story. So have you guys heard about this? It's Carlee Russell out of Alabama, who apparently went missing, as I stated, on Thursday of last week. And there's all kinds of odd discrepancies about this case and about this story. So I'm going to get into it, break it down for you guys. And y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, because there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and there's a lot of rumors going around, and the police have kind of been hush-hush on this. They just released a statement today, but it wasn't very clear still on what direction it is that they're going, and what it is that they are kind of thinking as to what may have happened in this particular case. So let's get into it, guys. So this is Carlee Russell, okay, 25-year-old, who went missing from Birmingham, Alabama, off of Interstate 459 on Thursday of last week. So basically, the story was that she got off of work and went to go get some food for herself and her mother, and then was driving home and stopped off of this interstate, and then she left work. Here you guys can kind of see this map of Birmingham in this area, and then proceeded to travel down 459 about 18 minutes until she got to about mile marker 11 at the John Hawkins Parkway exit. Okay, so at approximately 9:34, Carlee called 911 and spoke to police dispatch for Hoover, Alabama, and stated that she saw a toddler on the interstate, which this is a picture of it in the daytime. Obviously, this happened at nighttime. So another odd thing that was mentioned throughout the initial report was that as the police came upon the scene, responding to a call of a toddler walking along the side of a busy interstate, they found, obviously, Carlee's car, which was still running, keys and everything in it. Purse was in the vehicle. Her cell phone had been left behind. The passenger side door was open, and her wig was also found on scene, oddly enough. We're going to get into it. And then her Apple Watch was found inside of her purse.
459 South, mile marker 10. It's going to be a child walking on the 3 or 4-year-old child walking on the side of the interstate next to her. RP's going to be close by in a red Mercedes sedan with the hazards on. Child's going to be a white male wearing a white t-shirt and a diaper. RP's advising there's no cars in the area. Looks like the child's been abandoned on the side of the road.
Call the RP back. She's not at their vehicle.
We're not getting the female to answer. We're trying to call her back. She's not answering.
I'm around to the interstate as well. Can you give me a description on the child, and were they southbound, walking southbound?
10-4, southbound, walking southbound. It was a toddler, 3 or 4-year-old, wearing a white T-shirt and a diaper. RP arrived in a red Mercedes, along with the RP's description was going to be.
Copy. Thank you. 42, just be advised, her vehicle's unlocked, running. All her personal belongings except for her phone.
If we can we start getting into the Atkins Tram area? Just see if this child might have wandered from our house over there.
The RP had just saw the child walking on the side of the interstate and had gotten out with it when she had disconnected. You want us to start seeing if we can get her phone number pinged?
Apparently, there's a sister that was on the phone with her and still has an open line with her phone and can hear her vehicles as if it's like on the side of the interstate or something.
The first call we got was from her. Second call we got was from the family.
Right. I'm just saying that the sister apparently has an open line with that phone still.
This is where she ended up, you know, actually parking her vehicle because she traveled along the side of the road here. So after she called 911, she disconnected with them and she stopped to apparently check on the child, or so she advised to 911. And at that point she called a family member, and this was according to police, and it was confirmed by her brother and his girlfriend, who were also, I believe, at the house waiting on Carlee to return. So according to her brother's girlfriend, at some point during this call, she could hear Carlee actually speaking to who she was, you know, alleging to be a toddler on the side of the road. She had told her family and the police the exact same story, and it was that she had seen a white young male child walking along this very busy intersection, you know, in the middle, you know, it was 9:30. It was late at night, and she, you know, wanted to stop and help this child. So she first got in touch with police, then got in touch with her brother's girlfriend, and at that point she said that she was going to stop. She got out of her vehicle and was, you know, speaking to someone, and her, you know, the girlfriend said that it sounded like she was addressing a toddler trying to render aid to this child, but she never did actually hear the baby respond or could hear the sound of a child responding or crying in the background whatsoever. And then shortly after, you know, addressing the supposed toddler, she heard a scream coming from Carlee, and some sort of, I guess, scuffle ensued, or some sort of like shuffling of the phone. And at that point was no longer, you know, basically hearing Carlee on the other end of the phone. So at this point, the family of Carlee started to kind of freak out, and so the family lost contact with her at 9:36. Okay, so the initial call to 911 came in at 9:34. The police department is said to have been on the scene less than 3.5 minutes after the initial 911 call came in. They found evidence at the scene, but no sign of Carlee. Okay, so here is the other map that I was talking about. This is like a more zoomed in look. Okay, you guys can see here the highway and the trees, which were visible in this picture right here. If you cut through this area here, about 1 minute walk, you will get to this residential area here. So, and we're going to get into that. And I'm actually going to show you guys the video of her driving down the interstate now. So
you see the hazards there on the right hand. We believe that would be her on the...
So you guys can see, okay, I'm going to show you guys an enhanced one after this, but I just wanted to show y'all the initial video. This is straight from the surveillance footage from this interstate, and she travels for a long time on the shoulder. So, you know, she's moving at a slow rate of speed, and that's what immediately kind of set off a very big red flag in my mind, because if you see a child, you know, she's coming from way down here, right? Like out of frame. If you saw a child and you have gotten over into the shoulder, you know, and are preparing to basically pull over to render aid to the child, because when she comes into frame, she's already in the shoulder. Why then did she travel for so long and at such a slow rate of speed down this highway if the child was way back here? There's no way she could have been traveling out of this frame, and you'll see where she's going to stop. You know, and I'll just keep playing it. You'll see where she's actually going to end up stopping. I mean, it is like, I just don't see how or what she was doing, you know, because there's no way she would have been out of this frame seeing a child way up here. And you guys can see kind of a little bit. You're going to see way better in the enhanced. There's no child. You cannot see that. Like, I don't see how she would have been able to, and she's still traveling, and then she's finally going to come to a stop right around here. And it's almost as if she was looking for a specific mark as to where to stop, you know, because why were you traveling down the shoulder for that long at such a slow rate of speed? And right there, you can see her car door open, and I'm going to show you guys a better, like a better version of this as well.
I'm going to show it to you guys. It's sped up because it's actually easier to see when it's a little bit faster. But from our perspective, it looks like there's some figure that is there on the side of the car and then sort of wanders off to the side towards the darkness, which is where the wooded area is.
So it's very clear to see her get out of her vehicle, go around back to the back side of her vehicle, and then come around to the passenger side. Now, what we don't know, did she have someone in her vehicle with her? Was there a figure waiting for her in the woods, you know, either nefariously or somebody that she knew? These are questions that we still have that have not been answered yet. Did you guys see one person in this footage, or did you guys only just see Carlee herself? What did you see? Let me know in the comments down below. And now we'll look at the enhanced version. This right here was important because professionally enhanced, but I don't know. Let's watch it together and see if you can see the part where she actually gets out of her vehicle, because that's the key. No toddler anywhere, like nothing that even looks. And if she saw somebody, why would she be going so slow and still traveling? So here she's finally going to come to a stop. Okay, and let's see if we can see a little bit better. Because if she ran into the woods, why? The question is, why would she do something like that? Okay, and there she opened up the door. You can kind of see her go around back right there. Okay, here she's standing right there. You guys can see that. Again, I just go back to my original questions and my original, like, disbelief as to you know, her story, because there's no way, if you see a child for real on the side of the road, you don't stop immediately, like a hard stop, and then get out of your car right there and there. Like, yeah, it might not have been possible to, like, stop in the lane, but she was already in the shoulder at that point. So there's no explanation logically in my mind to explain why she traveled so far and so slowly down this interstate. Like I said, it was almost like she had a specific mark she was trying to drive to, and that's what the deal with that was. So let me go back to our timeline here. So at approximately, this was on 7/14, so at approximately 10 p.m., WBRC obtained the footage of Carlee driving, and then they released it. They released it to the public shortly thereafter, and it says it appears to be her getting out of her vehicle around 45 seconds, and then HPD arrives on the scene at the end of the clip. So it's very strange and bizarre. And 3 minutes and a half approximately later, the police will have shown up, and there was no sign of Carlee whatsoever, no sign of a toddler, no sign of any sort of indication that anything had happened other than this vehicle being parked on the side of the road as described by 911 dispatch. And they were kind of at this point scratching their head, and it became not only a search for a missing toddler, but a missing person being Carlee and wondering what the hell happened here. So right here, I believe, is when the police are fixing to show up. Yep, there he is. So, yeah, I mean, that was fast. That was a very fast response. Where could she have gone? Do y'all think she crossed over into those woods and somebody might have been waiting for her? Let's look back at the picture. I mean, it's possible that somebody was either trying to abduct her and may have been parked here and grabbed her. How would they have known that she would have been there? I mean, again, that would have been like they were using a toddler to lure her out of her vehicle, but then they would have like had to have known that she was going to stop here. It's just bizarre. None of it makes any sense. You know, there was no other vehicles. We could see the entire clip right there. No other vehicles pulled up to her. So it would have had to have been somebody on foot who could have grabbed her up if we're talking about an abduction here. Or if it was somebody that she knew and it wasn't a nefarious thing, then easily they could have been parked here. She could have run her little, you know, her little self over through these woods, a 1 minute distance, okay? And then, you know, they would have been able to drive off like nothing had happened. So let's go on with the timeline. So on Saturday, around 7 p.m., reports began circulating that Carlee was at a Red Roof Inn and had called her family. So this is where it gets really odd. The family is completely, they're completely denying all of this Red Roof Inn business. They're saying it's not true, that she was never there, this was a hoax, and nothing's been confirmed in relation to this portion of the story, but they are very adamant and very much protesting this portion of the story a little too hard. And you guys know that expression, thou dost protest too much, okay? It's like, I don't know. We're going to see the family statement, but her parents are acting bizarre. They are very much kind of trying to sweep everything under the rug. Like, we don't want to answer any more questions now that she's been found. And, you know, this is what it is. She said she was abducted, so that's what we're going with. There's really no need to look any further. But obviously the police, I think, are going to get to the bottom of this, because a lot of resources were spent on, you know, trying to locate this young lady. And the reason why it's so important for everyone to get to the bottom of this story is because we're living in very bizarre times, okay? And if this was a hoax, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, I think we all remember Jussie Smollett. It would not be the first time that somebody tried something like this. And, you know, if this is going to be something that people are going to start doing, it is going to severely cripple the actual resources that need to go to people who are actually missing, okay? And that cannot be allowed. And not only that, it's going to erode public trust and, you know, the immediate response that people feel to try to locate missing people, and it's going to cause doubt in the minds of those who might normally have, you know, helped to solve a missing person or any other crime. I mean, it's like, it's a matter of public trust and safety to figure out what it was that happened here and get down to the real truth and the bottom of the story. So the people that want to sweep it under the rug, like her family, it's not going to happen. And, you know, if everything's above board, then you should be perfectly fine and adamant about wanting to have the truth out there. So I don't know, guys, and it's only been a few days, so I don't want to speculate too much here, because again, there's still facts that will come out and we are waiting on those. But it's just been so, it kind of reminds me of like what was going on in the early days, or I say the early days, like the first 6 weeks were like the early days, when like nobody knew anything and everyone was just speculating wildly. I mean, it's so frustrating, but it's like, oh my God, it's like the cops are like, oh, we don't want to jeopardize our investigation. But sometimes, like, I feel like when they're secretive like this, it jeopardizes it even more. I mean, look at what's going on with Idaho 4. It's like, okay, well, now y'all kind of like maybe botched. I don't know. It's like, it's just a very bizarre circumstance and situation. I think that transparency and, you know, Sunlight is the best disinfectant, so why not just be upfront about what's going on? So again, they are completely adamant about denying the reports about the Red Roof Inn sighting, but I'm going to get to the police statement in just a second. So let's move on to that portion of it. So another interesting tidbit, guys, was that it came out that, you know, when people started to speculate on this case and the conspiracy started brewing, people were asking why would she have done this, right? So one thing that, you know, was being alleged, in addition to the Red Roof Inn theory that she was there, spotted there, there were several things that were all over Facebook and Twitter and, you know, all the social media rumor mills that she had supposedly a boyfriend that her family, you know, approved of and knew about, but then it was also alleged she has a 17-year-old side piece or potential baby daddy. I also heard that as well. And that on this day particular, she was having somewhat of a bad day and that she was let go from her job. It was said that she was flunking some of her nursing courses and that it was possible that she may have been on drugs. So all of these things have been alleged and cannot be confirmed at this point, but from what I'm seeing here, before I read you guys the police statement that was just released, this is a statement from the owner of the Woodhouse Spa, where she had supposedly been let go from her job. Okay, so they were kind of responding to these allegations and they weren't very clear, but I think the answer is very, if you read between the lines, it's in the details. So it says here at the bottom, we understand there are many posts on social media claiming certain information to be true. Some items are factual while others are not. Please rest assured that the Hoover Police Department is working around the clock to bring this case to conclusion. So that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. And there's supposedly going to be a press conference held tomorrow, so I may do a follow-up video depending on what they say and what details may be released. So, okay, so here is the full statement from the police released just this afternoon on Tuesday, basically updating the public on what they have so far, and it doesn't give much information, but again, read between the lines and you guys let me know what y'all think. The investigation into the Carlee Russell case continues as detectives are working to determine what happened from the time prior to her 911 call Thursday night until she returned home on foot Saturday. Detectives spoke to Carlee very briefly upon her return home and are waiting for her to be made available to obtain a more detailed statement about the sequence of events during that time frame. While we are not at a position to reveal all the information we have gathered at this point, we can talk about some details that we have not previously discussed. After leaving the Colonnade, Carlee went to Target on Highway 280 and purchased some snack food type items. These items were not located in the vehicle, or with her cell phone and wig at the scene of her disappearance. The Hoover Police Department has not located any evidence of a toddler walking down the interstate, nor did we receive any additional calls about a toddler walking down the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through that area as depicted by the traffic surveillance camera. Detectives have obtained surveillance video footage from Carlee's neighborhood, which shows her walking down the sidewalk alone prior to her arrival at her residence. Fire department radio traffic obtained by several media outlets show that medics were dispatched to her residence on an unresponsive but breathing person. That was a term used in the initial dispatch of the Hoover Fire Department to the residence, and the information about her condition was simply a dispatcher relaying information from what a 911 caller told the emergency communicator. When the first responders arrived on scene, they found Miss Russell conscious and speaking and was transported in that condition. She was later treated and released from a local hospital. Numerous evidentiary items are still being evaluated, and those items are key in the process of determining what exactly took place in the approximate 49 hours Carlee was missing, but also what took place prior to her disappearance. This release contains all of the information the Hoover Police Department is able to provide this time. So they will hold a press conference tomorrow, at which time we'll be able to release additional information. I can't wait for that. This is fascinating. You know what I picked up from this? You guys let me know what y'all see. Maybe I'm not seeing. The new thing was obviously she stopped at Target, got some snack items. Okay. And then, but that wasn't found in the vehicle. So you're telling me that out of all the things in her vehicle, wig, purse, phone, Apple Watch, all of those things remained on scene, but somehow in the scuffle of, you know, an abduction, she was able to grab her Target bag full of snacks. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And then the other thing that I picked up on that I hadn't previously kind of been looking at or been keyed into was that this line right here, these items were not located in the vehicle or with her cell phone and wig at the scene of her disappearance. So this tells me that I think, and this is all my speculation, her wig and her phone must have been found you know, some sort of relevant distance from her vehicle. So staged, maybe, I don't know, allegedly. Maybe it was you know, in an attempt to make it look more believable. Her car was parked on the shoulder of the road, and then she may have dropped her cell phone and wig at the edge of the you know, the woods there to make it look like a struggle had ensued, and or maybe it was found, you know, further on down the road or on the other side by that residential area. But that wording right there definitely indicates that the cell phone and the wig were found not near or in the vehicle. And this corroborates via the dispatch audio where they were saying, we're trying to locate her, but they didn't mention her phone being there. They just said her purse was there. So obviously it wasn't clearly visible as the police were arriving on scene that her phone was right outside the car. They must have had to locate it at some point. So very interesting. The most telling, I believe, piece of information in this whole release is the Target information, that she went and got snack foods, and that was the only thing. Guys, in the midst of an abduction, we all know that your attacker will allow you to bring your Target snack foods, okay? So I have two theories. Obviously, I think that makes sense in my mind, and this is just my speculation. You know, I could be totally off base. The first one is that she staged this to go be with either a friend, a side piece, who knows. She could have staged this for monetary gain, for social media clout, but any of those things under the umbrella of she staged it, meaning that she was fully aware that she was going to leave her vehicle there. There was planning involved, and she, you know, basically got out of there and went to a location, might have been the Red Roof Inn, might have been somewhere else, and posted up for 2 days, and then got dropped back off at home to make it look like, you know, this miraculous return to the family, and, you know, she's safe, thank God, you know, and her family's doubling down on the abduction theory. So I think that that is absolute malarkey, to borrow a phrase from, you know, somebody we all know. I just don't see that at all. I don't see how you can even take that theory seriously at this point. I mean, this is not what the evidence shows by any means. My other theory, and this is another one that people are throwing around online, is that she had some sort of mental break, and that maybe she really did see something on the side of the road, and, you know, she got scared and she like ran through the woods and, you know, just went full crazy. I don't know. I mean, that is severely possible. It could explain the snacks being taken, because maybe she thought she was like, somebody was following her and she was like going to go, I don't know, like hide out somewhere. There's no telling. We have not seen any supposed video footage from the Red Roof Inn of her checking in. That is alleged to be, you know, out there in the you know, internet sphere, but we just haven't seen it yet. So I'm looking forward to the news conference to see what the hell is going on. And again, like I said, her parents, they're doubling down. And I think that this is fascinating. They released this video statement right here. I'm going to play a little clip of this.
The parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours.
What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her.
Weird. What the fuck?
But
Last Thursday,
Hello?
police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running. All her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police
See that? Except for her phone. It's so, y'all, this stinks. This really fucking stinks. And like her parents, like, oh, she was just like this, she was in this state. She was in this like utter state. We couldn't even comfort her. We had to stand back and let strangers, after she had just been abducted, you know, it's not the loving embrace of her parents that she probably wants. It's the touch of strangers to comfort her. Yeah, that makes sense. But if she was in such a bad way, she was taken to the hospital and released the very same day. Why would she not have been kept for observation if she was so bad off? Why would she not need further mental assessments? I mean, make it make sense. It's just bizarre behavior. It's like, are they doubling down because they're involved? Or are they doubling down because they don't want to believe that their daughter is possibly doing something very nefarious and manipulative? I don't know. But the fact, I mean, just that whole interaction right there was so odd to me, because you're making it seem like, and they even go on to say that like she was fighting for her life for 2 days. So why didn't the hospital like check her in and keep her for, I mean, it's just weird.
found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
there were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
Oh, really?
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter and she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
I mean, this is so bizarre. The dad looks like he's disassociating. The mom has crocodile tears. Oh, this is just one of those things that I have a feeling is going to, like, come back to bite them. You know, like, y'all remember that Jussie Smollett interview that he did with, like, the lady, and he was, like, saying how, you know, he thinks that this was done because he gives 45 such a hard time, and, like, all this, like, just lies. I mean, why, if y'all don't want people to talk about this, if y'all want the investigation to play out, why would you drag your asses up onto NBC News and give this interview? Y'all weren't required to do this. I mean, it's just like, It seems like they're following all of this online. I mean, it seems like the girl's following, Carlee's following all of this online. Why is she looking at news relating to herself and content that people are putting out in relation to herself if she's so distraught? You know, get off of social media, get offline, put your phone away. If you just got abducted, you would think that would be the last of your concern, is what people are saying about you online. If you know the truth of what happened to you. I don't know. It stinks.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her
Oh,
life?
she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when
what was
she
that, Dad?
physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments
Y'all saw
when
that? He, like,
she
kinda
physically
shook his
had
head.
to fight for her life, and there were moments.
Hold up, wait. Watch
Do you
him.
believe she was fighting for her
Oh,
life?
she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Oh, really?
She did make it back. All right, Priscilla. So
Yeah, she did make it back. Yeah. Fascinating contribution there, Hoda. Anyways, what do y'all think, guys? This is the more I see, the more I look at. Something ain't right. Okay, something definitely is not right. So, I don't know. It's very weird. Very, very weird. The family's unequivocally denying this. This was a statement from the family. There is one terrible and heartless hoax we want to address out of several. I received a text at some point from someone claiming to be Carlee and that she was at that Red Roof Inn. However, when my family went there and knocked on doors and looked for her, there was no indication Carlee was there, nor that she had ever been there. Any further questions or comments will need to be directed to Hoover Police. Interesting. It's going to be really easy to figure out. You know, the Red Roof Inn lobby, I'm sure, has surveillance cameras, so we'll see, guys. Again, press conference is set for tomorrow at 2:30. I will let you guys know if there's any major developments. Hopefully there will be some bombshells dropped, and we get, to figure out what the hell's going on with this case, because it's weird, and it's freaking me out. I need to know the truth. The public needs to know the truth. If we have another hoaxer on our hands, we have to start, just completely holding these people responsible to the fullest extent of the law, because this should not be allowed. Again, it will erode public trust, public safety, and it will encourage copycatters to keep doing things like this, and it's going to cause even more damage in the long run. So, what do y'all think, guys? Please let me know, because I'm so curious about this case. It really is very interesting and very suspicious. So, y'all like the video if you like it. Comment, subscribe, go follow me on Twitter. Do all of the things. I appreciate you guys so very much. Y'all stay safe. And until next time, guys, I will see y'all later. All right, bye. Hey guys, I'm back again. So I didn't get to upload this video as early as I wanted to. I had a busy day at work today, so I just finished editing, and obviously by now they have already come out with the police press conference with the update. So instead of doing two separate videos, two smaller videos, I prefer longer content. So this is I've always had long videos, so you guys know. You know what to expect. So let's get into the update, guys. Without further ado, I won't waste any of your time. It's good. It's juicy. You're going to want to hear it. Stick around. And let's get into the police's comments on what exactly happened to this young lady. Okay, here we go.
However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear, that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carlee left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carlee concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Tzatziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459.
So interesting. So new tidbit there of information is seemingly confirming what we already had discussed previously, is that she stole items from her job. So if she wasn't fired before, she's probably fired now. She stole a bathrobe, other toiletries, and then made her way over to Target for snack foods. almost as if she was preparing for something, for maybe, you know, a weekend getaway, you know, I don't know. It's not very prepper type of situation. You don't need more food than granola and Cheez-Its, but let's get into it, guys, and see where this goes.
Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel, up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Oh my God. This man with this purple coat, he kind of savaged her during this press conference, y'all. I can't even hold you. And like in a classy way. It was a classy savage, which are the worst kind. Can y'all get it together?
I am on Interstate 459, and there's just a kid just walking by themselves. Oh, hold on. Where am I supposed to are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hunter Egg, like you get off by the Hunter Egg. Okay, you're before that exit? Yes. Okay, were you headed southbound or northbound? Okay, Fort Tuscaloosa or 428? Fort Tuscaloosa. Okay, and was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking in Fort Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound? Or how old do they look? Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay, are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a Mercedes Benz. Is that a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry. Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian? They're white. Okay. Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. White male? Okay. So is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is Carlee Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct? No. I can't really see them that good. Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right. And do they have shoes on? No. I can't really see that. Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay? Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay, bye.
So before he continues with his classy savaging of this woman, I just want to say that she sounds very jovial, first of all, for someone who has, in distress, spotted a toddler on the side of the road and is stopping to render aid because she's so disturbed by what she's seeing. She sounds extremely, calm and jovial, and this kind of, in my opinion, negates the theory of like some sort of mental break, because she sounds perfectly healthy, balanced, and normal in that clip. I mean, you'll have to make that make sense to me, and you'll have to explain to me how somebody who sounds completely coherent could be in the midst of a mental break. I mean, even if she was seeing something, even if she was on drugs, I feel like she would sound different. She sounded very, I don't know. She sounded fine to me. So it negates that, and it really, the toddler theory was never even a thing. We've all seen the video. I mean, there was no toddler, so it's like, the phone call was damning, but he's fixing to continue with even more, guys.
Carlee called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight. 600 yards.
And so, obviously, he felt it important, and it is important to absolutely and unequivocally state this and make sure that it is reiterated in everyone's mind, is that, you see a toddler, okay, even if this was real, like if we're entertaining the prospect of this being real, you see a toddler, why would it take you 600 yards, 6 football fields, to stop your car to render aid. I mean, he'd be way back there. He wouldn't have even traveled 1 football field's length as you have traveled 6 in your vehicle. I mean, just that's an important part of it as well. And that was one of the main red flags that flew up as soon as we watched that video, was that, like, okay, if you're seeing something on the side of the road and you're pulling over, why do you continue driving for so long and so slowly? That was huge, and that was one of the major aspects of this whole scenario that made people really start to look funny at her.
The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carlee's mother stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carlee scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carlee's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene.
Oh, so that is super important as well, guys. I mean, this is just like the way that he is like saying it without having to say it. It's a very, he's got big grandpa energy, big, you know, I like this guy. I like this guy with his purple suit, his purple jacket, whatever it is. She was establishing an alibi. She was gathering things that she needed while establishing an alibi, picking up the food for her mom, you know, getting in touch with her brother's girlfriend, you know, making it sound like everything's normal. And all the while, you know, it's funny that while she's being abducted, let her tell you her story, she was abducted, she was able to somehow grab the robe and the toiletries that she stole from her job, as well as all of the snacks that that she bought from Target. So her abductors obviously wanted her to be comfortable. I mean, that's very considerate of them, but I just don't know if I buy it. So, and then the food was left. So, like, you're going to leave the food that you just bought, the hot food, and take your Cheez-Its and your granola and your bathrobe. Like, what? It's so weird. It is. What do you guys think that says? I mean, that's all these points that he's laying out are painting a very clear picture for me.
Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carlee. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounded local and federal agencies assisted Hoover police in the search for Carlee Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carlee, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by our family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday, and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 Center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby.
Oh, really?
She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed.
Oh.
She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembered.
So he picked her up and he appeared out of the trees. He picked her up, but before he picked her up and threw her over the fence, he, you know, was like, "Hey, you want to grab that Target bag and you want to go get that toilet paper and that robe that you got over there? But leave the food and leave your purse and leave your phone and throw your wig over there on the ground." Like, what? You have to. I mean, you guys have to just go there with me. Like, go and let's look at this. Let's paint a scene together. It doesn't. No part of that makes any sense. Absolutely no part of it. Now, granted, I am very, thoroughly impressed with the, quick and effective method that she was actually able to get out of her car, grab her, her groceries that she had made, and skedaddle out of there and into the woods and not drop anything or leave any sort of trace. I mean, I'm assuming they got dogs out there and everything like that. That's interesting, but the other theory that some guy like snatched her up but made sure she had enough time to grab her Cheez-Its, I'm not going to go for that. I just don't. It doesn't sit well with me on any level.
Is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice.
Sherry Papini?
She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying.
Sherry.U?
The male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot.
Orange hair with a bald spot on the back? What is going on? Is this not Sherry Papini? Did she does she not know that we know about Sherry's whole story? Do you guys know who Sherry Papini is? That's one crazy whore too.
Only to be captured again and was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded, but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists.
How convenient.
She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence.
Oh my God.
During this interview, detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear on her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock. Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "You have to pay for an Amber Alert" was searched.
Oh my God.
On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught" was searched.
Oh no.
On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term "Birmingham Bus Station" was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert.
Hello?
There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time.
Oh, come on.
We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, did he just call her a lying ass bitch? Wow. Okay, so mic drop, bombshells going off, explosions. This girl here is what is wrong with people? So now we've had Sherry Papini, we've had Jussie Smollett. What drives a person to do this? It's absolutely astonishing. And there's no way, I don't know, you can't really explain yourself out of it. The only thing that I have an issue with what he said here was that the police were, asking for a follow-up statement, and there was questions that I'm not going to play because I don't want this video to be over an hour, but there were questions that were taken after this statement was made, and they were asking him, I think the very first question was are there going to be charges against her, because everyone was able to read between the lines of his statement to understand that she completely fabricated this whole entire story. She wasted people's time, resources, made people worry, made people scared, is going to absolutely affect the thoroughness or the believability of future actual, sex trafficking stories or abduction stories. She's an idiot. There's something wrong with her, obviously. We can maybe bring the mental disorder back into the mix here, because I don't see how anyone could do something like this without being mentally ill. Now, does it excuse it? Absolutely not. Should she be charged? Absolutely. And there's going to be more facts that are going to come out about this case that to be quite frank, I cannot wait to see what those are, because I am totally invested now in this, in this story, and I want to see where this is going to go. I want to know the full story, and I think that, if she doesn't play ball and give the police an interview, then they need to just go and get a subpoena for her arrest and drag her ass into the cross-examination room and get some damn answers, because everything is leading to and pointing to the fact that she committed a crime. She lied to the police. She wasted federal and state resources on a fake abduction story, and has undermined public trust in, a lot of these different avenues that people use to actually solve real crimes, guys. So this was shocking. I love the way he delivered this. Again, a very, very classy savage. But what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. And like this video if you like it. Do all of the things, guys. Again, I wanted to pop on here, give the update because it was worthy, and I might clip it separately. But anyways, you guys get it. I thank you so much, as always, for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
See if there's